Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for coming over to Target Center. My name is Marnie Gellner. I am the television play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Lynx, and we'd like to welcome all of you who are watching this live on Fox Sports North. Don't be nervous.
On TV.
Listening on WCCO Radio and the Lynx Radio Network, and watching online at lynxbasketball.com. We are here this morning to mark this momentous occasion as we honor someone who means and continues to mean so much to this Minnesota Lynx franchise. Even after her playing career, Lindsay Whalen is somebody who embodies what it means to be a Minnesota Lynx, on the court and off the court. And it is fitting that we are here today inside this building, inside Target Center, because this is the arena in which Lindsay received all 4 of her WNBA championship rings. 4. And so, here at Target Center, we are excited to announce that Lindsay Whalen's number 13 will hang forever in the rafters. This will be the very first jersey retirement ever in the history of the Minnesota Lynx, as it should be. And the Lynx thought that there would be no better game to do this than one that would be broadcast to a national TV audience. That will be a game live on a Sunday afternoon on June 8th against the Los Angeles Sparks, broadcast live on ABC. And we didn't choose the opponents. Lindsay retired from the WNBA as not only one of the best point guards the league has ever seen, but the single winningest player in the history of the WNBA. She led the Lynx to 4 WNBA championships. She is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and left this franchise as the leader in assists. She was 2nd in games played. She was 4th in scoring for the Lynx.
Should have shot more. This is going to be hard to catch Moan, though.
Yeah. Being from this great state of Minnesota, hometown of Hutchinson, you can see by the representation here and all the faces here and the cell phones high in the air, Carly, you could just record it at home too, how much Lindsay means to this franchise. And it has been a real pleasure for so many of us to watch her move on to the next phase of her career on the sidelines as the head coach of her alma mater, the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. With that, we're going to tip off today's festivities with a few words from head coach and general manager Cheryl Reeve, followed by probably fewer words from Lindsay Whalen. And then we will have a few questions from your host, and then we will open it up to media interviews after that. So we begin with some remarks from Ms. Cheryl Reeve.
Well, Marnie, you clearly weren't there for Lindsay Whalen night. There were a lot of words that night. But thanks for being here this morning. You know, very, very special day for our franchise. I remember I was hired December 9th of 2009. Roger Griffith, thanks for the confidence. Just a month later, if Roger remembers this, I was still in Michigan making the transition to Minnesota. And I remember cleaning my things out, getting everything ready, and I got this phone call. And the phone call was from Roger. And Roger says, we have this offer from Connecticut to trade for Lindsay Whalen. What do you think? Of course, I knew that even if I said no, he was going to say yes. But it was clear at that time it was just the right thing at the right moment. We were happy to be able to get that done. I can't imagine the last 9 years without having made that transaction. I do remember, Roger, it was met with a little bit of skepticism. If you remember, they were concerned that Lindsay was washed up. It was too late. Some of you fans might be sitting here now that perhaps thought that. And you know, so just, you know, the 9 years we spent together, just incredible when you think about where we started in 2010 and where we finished in 2018. Just an unbelievable ride. And when you think about a jersey hanging in the rafters, what does that mean to all of you? The symbolism for me is obviously excellence. This is somebody that every single day that she showed up on the job, there was a level of excellence about what she did. It was well documented, what a teammate, what a leader. But I don't think you should understate the work, the sacrifice that it takes to perform every single time she played and to represent the state of Minnesota. Lindsay did it with such grace. Tonight, when I think about Glenn Taylor's commitment to this organization, there were times when maybe that there were naysayers that said, maybe Glenn shouldn't have a team. I am so thankful for his commitment because it is, for players like Lindsay around our entire state, girls and boys have this tremendous female role model to look up to. It has changed girls basketball in our state. And so for Lindsay Whalen's jersey to be hanging in Target Center is just absolutely fitting.
Thank you. Me now? Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you all for coming in. Thanks to my family for being here. Thanks to you guys. Obviously, it's a tremendous honor. It's not one that I definitely take lightly at all. And it just shows what you can do. Like you said, when you work hard, but more than anything, when you surround yourself with really great people. Becky's here, and just what we're all able to do, as teammates and as coaches, and Chuck's here. Just everything we were all able to do as an organization, day in and day out. That's I don't know. That's the trophies and the rings, and now with my jersey. It's just, to me, it's a symbol of that day to day and those relationships that we really built on. And we wouldn't have been able to do any of those things if it wasn't for the work that we all did together. And the day to day, like Coach said, just the day to day, the work you put in, the sacrifices you make to be a part of a team. None of this would happen if the team didn't have success. My jersey wouldn't be up there if we didn't win 4 championships. And so being able to do that with such a special group makes it that much more special. And so I think the biggest thing to take away is that is none of this would happen if it wasn't, getting up at 4 a.m. on a flight, getting back, getting yourself ready for the game the next day, or getting yourself ready for practice. And we did all that together every day, day in and day out. Different players on our team sacrificed so many different things. I mean, Simone, probably the most unselfish superstar ever, gave up a lot. When me, Becky, we drafted Maya, and then we eventually got Sil. We all gave up a lot throughout this time. And so, but we did it together. We wanted to do it together. And so none of us would trade any of those individual accolades or any of those individual things, scoring and this and that, because we got to do it as a team. And now we have all these rings and all these trophies. And, they're heavy. The trophies are heavy, but they're so fun to carry around. And, the rings got bigger as the years went on. So I mean, I just don't want it to get lost in all the work that we did do day in and day out, and what we did together, and how much we sacrificed for each other, because it really was special, and it was something that every day you want to be a part of. And now that's something obviously I carry over to the University of Minnesota. But more than anything, thank you, Roger, for making that trade. You remember the date? That was pretty good. To Glenn for everything he's done. I'm gonna miss going down there to that lasagna dinner this year. You guys will have to bring me back a piece. But I don't know if many owners do that. And Glenn he has the team down every training camp for a dinner. It's kind of our kickoff. And so it starts with him, and he's a great leader, and he's really, really, brought the WNBA here, and now we've all been able to really flourish. So, thank you to you guys for bringing me back here, and to my teammates for everything we were able to do. It was very, very, special time for all of us. Is that short enough?
That was a little bit longer than I expected. I loved it.
Oh,
is the first Minnesota Lynx player who will hang in the rafters?
Says that she's got tired of it first. She beat Rebecca to it. And I think she probably at some point probably thought about this. If I go now, I'll be the first jersey to be retired. So she was always smart that way, always was thinking ahead. And, we talked about her play calling. Of course, I'm just kidding. So obviously what it means, Lindsay touched on it too, is just, that the time that you spend together on that journey, and I just think when I go back to and I think about what Lindsay did for University of Minnesota, it's just I don't know if you could live a more charmed sporting life than what Lindsay Whalen has been able to experience here in Minnesota. As a youngster, here as a high school player, going to your state school, University of Minnesota, and then, to be able to come back here and win championships for the WNBA franchise. And then, oh, by the way, when she retires, she goes and earns 4 times what she was making as a WNBA player, transitions into being a college coach at her alma mater. And then shortly after that, she gets an announcement that her jersey is going to be retired. I don't know that it could have gone any better. And I just can't tell you how thankful I am to have been able to spend 9 years of my career with this very special point guard right here.
You see what happens when you stay home?
Yeah.
Good stuff happens when you stay home.
Correct.
There are countless moments in your Minnesota Lynx career, and even countless great moments. How do you separate those when you think about it, when you look back at your time and the championships and all of the things you did and the team did? How do you pick one out? How do you pick a moment and the one that you go to and think, wow, that was it?
Yeah, I think probably somewhere between our first championship and the last one. Those are probably the most special. But the first one,
That's a lot of
the first one, we didn't know what we were doing, really. Becky, right? Well, I'm Becky, I already won one, but we really didn't know what we were doing that first year. And so I think for me, the one that would probably stand out would be the last one, because you understand how hard it is and how hard it was to come back and win that 4th one. Because once you do it and then you're the hunted the rest of the time, of the rest of our careers, we were hunted since 2011. And so in 2017 to still have won, that was probably my number one. And then to come back, I think the whole team that year, after we lost in 2016 here on that buzzer beater, everyone was motivated that much more for that whole season. Everybody sacrificed a lot to get us back in 2017. We finished 28-6 in the regular season, right? And then we got home court. We ended up playing at Williams, and so it was a lot. That year we were at, I think, Excel, and so we went through a lot that year. We were at Excel, then we had the finals were at Williams, but we didn't let anything stand in our way because we knew how much it was so close in 2016. So that would have been a back-to-back, and so it was so close. And then obviously a great play from NECA, but then that motivated us for 2017. So probably 2017 when we won that one. That's probably my number one.
There's something to be said for the journey of learning how to spray a champagne bottle in a championship. And I can attest to that first one. There was a level of inexperience. I think Rebecca and I had to tell, no, it's like this, and how you spray it. So we got well versed in that, which I'm really thankful for. One of the, if you're on the inside, the most special games, I think for Lindsay were ones that were played at 2:00. And so if you go back and look at it, the times that we played at 2, and it was most often in San Antonio. It was a Sunday afternoon at 2:00. Those were Lindsay Whalen's favorite games. That's when she was at her very, very best. And she would get excited. She'd see the schedule. We're getting on the bus. She's like, Coach, 2:00 on Sunday. And I knew it was just going to be an unbelievable effort by Lindsay. And Danielle was sitting here kind of going, yep. Danielle Robinson, who played in San Antonio, remembers those afternoons. I think we had a game winner. A fall away on the baseline. It was triangle way, and I think that was the action triangle for Way. Jane Appel switched out on a screen, and Way just buried a nice little jump shot over the top for the win. And those are things that you all aren't privy to. But there was even times we'd play somewhere out of the time zone, and she'd say it's 2:00 somewhere, and she'd go hooping.
So I wasn't tired from shoot around. We didn't have shoot around on 2:00 game days.
Duly noted.
just go and play.
Cheryl, I asked Lindsay about a memory that sticks out from her time. What is the memory between the two of you in your very special relationship, head coach to point guard? And maybe there's not one, but it's more a description of your relationship.
Well, I don't know if it's so much about the relationship, more a symbol of Lindsay Whalen. And you would think that I would be talking about maybe one of the better moments, but the story I want to tell is about down in playing the Atlanta Dream. I believe it was maybe 2015 season. When was the game we played at Chicago? So we were playing Chicago. It was the remaining seconds of a game. We were up 3, and Lindsay probably remembers this, and I don't mean to bring this up to cause pain. It's more to describe Lindsay Whalen and how much she took on for our team. So we come out of a timeout. We were going to foul. We wanted to make sure that Elena Deladon wasn't going to get off a 3. And we left with everyone with assignments, and Courtney Vandersloot, Lindsay was guarding Courtney Vandersloot. We were getting ready to foul. Lindsay reached out to foul, but Courtney Vandersloot, I don't think she knew that Lindsay was going to foul, but she turned away from her and went over to the action for a double screen for Elena Deladon. We didn't get the foul on. The ball goes to Deladon, and she makes a 3. We end up losing the game in overtime. And I think that you all recall that in our locker room after a game, we drink cocktails. Some nights you're drinking because of what just happened in a good way, and other nights, you're drinking. And I remember we didn't drink this particular night. It was long after the game, players had showered, and Lindsay Whalen walks into the coach's locker room and sits down and begins to cry. And I said, it's okay, Way. I knew exactly what she was feeling. I said, do you want to watch it? Let's watch and see what happened. Because I wanted Lindsay to see that it wasn't as bad as she thought. Because Lindsay's like that. Lindsay's really going to take it on. So we get through that. And one thing I said to Lindsay was, we're leaving this right here in this locker room. You're a great player. We're moving on. We're going to win a lot of games together. We go on and we lose 3 more games. This happened down in Atlanta. I remember having to bench Lindsay because it wasn't going very well. It was the rock bottom for Lindsay Whalen. And if you remember the locker room after that game, Lindsay just was feeling so responsible that we had to have what we called an intervention for Lindsay with our captains. And at that point in time, we then went on and Lindsay Whalen got over it. But for Lindsay, she carries this responsibility to be a winner. And so she wants to do the right thing all of the time. That's what I got to experience every day. And whenever it wasn't exactly right, this is how she took it on. And that's why we were a great team. And when we were able to get our Lindsay Whalen back, we went on and we won a championship in Atlanta against the Atlanta Dream. For me, that's a story I always tell.
That's a good one. Very good. I think after that too, I'll always remember this because we won 16 of 17 games then. The only one we lost was a buzzer beater at LA. Jim P, you'll remember this as well. So after that intervention, Becky, you were there.
She was.
We won 16 of 17, so we went 16-1 to finish that season, won the championship, didn't lose a game in the playoffs, and we started the next season, I think 10-0.
Right.
So we had won in the WNBA.
That was 2013. You're right.
In the WNBA to win 23 of 24 games is pretty good. After the intervention.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good against pros.
They say sometimes you go backwards before you go forward, and we really went forward.
That's right. It was. That was our second. I think that was 2013.
It was 2013.
Yep.
Well, we will wrap this up with one final question, and it has to do with your jersey and hanging in the rafters, and what Lindsay has meant to this state and to the fans and to the people that have gathered. My goodness, they're all the way around the corner up there. But you've touched a lot of people in a lot of different ways. You've made so many fans. My daughter being one. As I was saying goodbye to her this morning as she was leaving for school, she just turned 9, and I said, I'm going to see Wheezy today. And she was like, oh, yay! And she said, why? And I said, she's having her number retired. And she was like, what? And I said, yeah. And she's like, you can't call her anymore? I said, no, her jersey number, not her phone number. She was devastated that we might not be able to call or text. So the influence you've had on these people, on coaches, on teammates, there's a symbol now of that. There will be a symbol starting on June 8th, hanging from the rafters, number 13. What do you think your emotions will be that day as you're standing there and that jersey Lynx 13 is unveiled and will remain forever in the rafters.
Is it at halftime or before the game? The ceremony?
Before the game.
It's good. I just want to mess with LA one more time and throw off their pre-game routine. So beat Candace and NECA, and more after that. But that one will be good. We'll mess with them. So pretty much just that. I want to beat LA that day. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'll know more then, but I think it'll just be obviously it's a 2:00 game, so it'll be fun. Won't have shooter on that day, so be well rested for the game, and it's really hard to say, until it actually happens. But obviously, to be the first one of all the amazing players, it's really truly special. So it'll be a great day for my family and Lynx family and Gopher family. So it'll be a cool day.
I don't think there's any better way to say to a player, thank you for all that they've done. So congratulations to Lindsay Whalen.
Thank you.
That'll be June 8th, a Sunday afternoon, right here at Target Center when we unveil Lindsay's jersey in the rafters. And that will conclude the formal part of the press conference. Both Cheryl Reeve and Lindsay Whalen will be available for interviews afterwards in front of this backdrop. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you for watching and for listening. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful afternoon.